I was the most pessimistic, negative person you would ever meet. And this book, with a little bit of effort, I transformed into a positive person, a happy person.
And then I was like, if I can make myself have a heart attack or feel like I'm having one, if my mind is that powerful that I can convince an ECG there's something wrong with my heart, what else can I do? I don't think I was I probably wasn't taking it wholly seriously. And then I was taken ill, and it was on April Fool's Day as well. On April Fool's Day, I my body decided to. So this week we are looking at the magic of manifestation, and we were looking at the two books. One that you've said you've read a lot, haven't you? Can you tell us a bit about that, Angela?
Yeah, The Secret, The Law of Attraction. The Secret was my Bible. I swear to God, it actually saved my life. You know, I got it just before the end of my second toxic relationship. And when we broke up, like, I thought my whole world ended. Even though it was a toxic relationship, I had to end. I was just in a terrible place. I couldn't stop crying. I was crying all the time. And the only thing that could make me smile was this book. The minute I opened it, I was smiling from ear to ear. And I said to myself, this has to be doing something right if it's making me happy. So I read it from cover to cover again and again and again. I studied it like my Bible. I brainwashed myself into learning the law of attraction. The law of attraction states that like attracts like. What we think, we manifest. So if you envision something and want it enough, you can manifest that. But in the same way, if you fear something enough, you can also manifest that. So you have to be mindful of your thoughts. But read The Secret. Like, if there's any book I've been trying to, I had 5 different copies over the years. I kept giving them to people. And I'm after buying another copy the other day of The Power. She did another book that she wrote. But listen, it changed my life. Like, our thoughts, our mind can control anything. I was the most pessimistic, negative person you would ever meet. And this book, with a little bit of effort, I transformed into a positive person, a happy person. So, believe me when I say this stuff works.
Oh, absolutely. Do you know, for me, it wasn't from reading the book. I kind of noticed that words mean something, like, because I'd noticed like really strange things. Like once I went to Cornwall on a holiday, and I don't know why, but out of the blue, I was like, oh, I hope I don't stand on a weaver fish. And it was just like, nobody was talking about weaver fish. I don't know if you know what a weaver fish is. It's a fish with little spines that sting. It really hurts. It's like having a bee sting. And I had them before, but I'd not had them for many years. Like when I was a teenager, I'd had it. And this was like maybe about 4 years ago, actually. And I was like, oh, I hope I don't stand on a weaver fish. And then I went out into the sea and stood on a weaver fish. And I was like, that's just so weird, because, and it was either a download, you're going to stand on a weaver fish, like either it was intuition that it was going to happen,
or you manifested it,
or I manifested it. And I was, and so I just thought, that's weird. And then obviously the major one for me is manifesting myself a heart attack. So I was really unhealthy. And so I smoked, I didn't exercise ever, I ate the wrong foods, I was overweight, and stressed, high stress. And I got it into my head that I had a problem with my heart. And I looked up the symptoms of a heart attack. And then I started having arm pains, and and it got so convincing that I got to work one day and had what I thought was having a heart attack on the way to work. And then I managed to like, I was shaking and got through the door, and then it started again. And I was like, and so they got an ambulance and they put an ECG on me, and the paramedics found an anomaly on my heart. So like, probably because I've been hyperventilating or not breathing enough or whatever it was, but but it was, you know, a concern. There was a concern on my heart. So they took me to in an ambulance, not like blue lighting or anything, but took me in an ambulance to the hospital. And then once I got there, there wasn't anything wrong with my heart at that point, but they're like, we'll have to investigate it because it might have just passed.
Yeah.
So I had lots of investigations done, but on the NHS you have to wait a long time. And I was like, I started meditating and I started separating myself from my thoughts, and I could see that, like, I thought a lot about this, and then it had happened. And you know, some people saying, oh, maybe it's anxiety, and I was like, well, I didn't realize I had really bad anxiety at that moment. I was like, well, I had an anxiety about having a heart attack, and then I felt like I was having one. And then I was like, if I can make myself have a heart attack or feel like I'm having one, if my mind is that powerful that I can convince an ECG there's something wrong with my heart, what else can I do?
Exactly.
And through meditation and that, and then I haven't read the book, but I have watched I think it's on Netflix or Prime.
The Secret. I've seen the DVD as well. It's the exact same thing. It's literally just the people in the book speaking what's written in the book. Like,
yeah.
So, but it's amazing how you can use it to change any aspect of your life. Like, if you change your wording, like, you know, instead of saying, oh, I wish we could do this or I wish we could do that, say I will, and you will manifest it. But even certain things, like with food for me, for example, I was a very unhealthy eater. And, you know, every time I ate something, I was conscious I was putting on weight. But that was manifestation as well. Like, if you're going to think, I used to say, oh, if I look at the sausage, I put on weight. Of course you will if you think that. Whereas you transform it and you actually embody the weight you want before you have it, or you embody the thing before you have it. Now I eat healthy. I don't even have a scales anymore. Do you know what I mean? Because I changed my mindset around it. And it's so powerful. Like the simple things of acting as if it's already yours, feeling gratitude for if it's already yours, visualizing as if it's already yours. This can attract it into your life. Like, I remember I was a DJ briefly, and like, I'm not finished with it yet, but at the moment, like, you know, it was a couple of years ago now, but like, I watched my favorite DJ, and I was like, oh, I'd love to be a DJ. And I was like, hold on, no, law of attraction, I will be. And within 6 months, I had the equipment and I was a DJ. But like, you know, anything, the simple thing of a social life, I had no social life. And I was like, oh, I'll buy some dresses now when I start going out. There was no social life. Remember the law of attraction, so I bought the dresses, and then bang, I was busy, I had places to go. So it's literally act as if, believe it, and you will manifest it. It is magic, but it's also scientific. You know what I mean? So even if people are like, oh, it's spiritual all woo, it's actually a scientifically proven law, like the law of gravity.
Yeah. And like, even if you don't, like, say, you know, you're like, oh, that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it does make sense. But even if you just look at on a behavioral level, okay? So if you take my karate situation. So when I started karate, I did it out of fear, because at the time I still hadn't got a hold of my mind, because I had begun to meditate, but I didn't really I hadn't really got to the point of observing my thoughts and things. So I did it out of fear, right? I didn't do it because I thought I was going to be good at it. I didn't do it because my life was so uncomfortable and scary. I thought this was my only way out. It was like desperation. And I didn't think I'd even get through the warm up, let alone be doing the things that I'm doing now. And had my mindset been that I can't do it, right, which it was at the beginning, but I was just too scared not to do it. But then when things cropped up, like I got invited onto squad, for example. Like, I'd be like, why, I wouldn't be any good on the, you know, the competition squad. Like, that's not me. I don't exercise. I'm not an athlete. I'm not this. I'm not that, which was, you know, who I thought. I was somebody who never exercised, never did, you know. I'm old. That's another thing. I'm too old to be doing it.
No, age is only a number. Don't ever say that. Age is only a number. That's all. We're not old. We're getting younger.
But if my mindset had been my old mindset of not that long ago, really,
Mm-hmm.
I would have prevented myself from taking the opportunities. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many doors of opportunity that opens around you every day, every minute of the day, that can take you on a journey, on a wonderful new place, adventure. Your life could take a complete turn by having the bravery to walk through a door, or even notice that it's a door. Like, you know, if they'd said, right, you can join the competition squad, I wouldn't have even seen that as a door for me at one time. I'd be like, well, obviously that's not meant for me, you know? And so even if you don't believe in the law of attraction, behaviorally, if you are embodying the person who is doing the things that you want, then you're going to be doing the things to get to the place where you want to be.
Exactly.
Like, it just makes sense. And actually, what we do is backwards. We're like, the majority, me included, for a lot of my life, was like, when I get this, I'll be enough. Or when I've done this, or when I've got this house, when I've got this job. And it's like you're postponing your happiness and your fulfilledness and your worthiness until you get the next thing. And you never get there, because when you get there, you still don't feel worthy.
That's the
So you're
thing.
like, there's
You
something
don't get
else
there.
go on.
Yeah, you don't get there because you see it as a faraway thing. But with manifestation, you have to see it as if it's already happening.
Exactly.
And that's it. Like, you know, when you're like, I wish, or I get there, you're literally reaching for something and you're actually pushing it away.
Yeah.
But like, as you said, you don't even have to know about the law of attraction. I tell you a story from when I was younger. Like, I used to work with my dad. He used to go around doing handyman, timber floor and China and all this down around houses. And this new estate was built in my town. And it was a posh estate. 4-bedroom houses. These were huge fucking houses. We lived in a tiny 2-bedroom. My brother had to share it with my dad. It was damp. It was cold. And when I was working with my dad in this mansion, as I saw it, I was just literally going around. I think it was around my early teens. And I was going around the place just going, wow, this place is awesome. I'd love to live here. You know, there's so many rooms, so many bathrooms. I was like, wow. Literally living in Fantasyland when I was walking around this house. And guess what? We ended up living in that house. Like, you know, and that's so far-fetched because, like, we couldn't even afford to live in that house. But because he was working for the landlord, it happened. And that was me as a young child, did not know about manifestation. And I just literally went around daydreaming for the day. And I literally manifested.
Imagine yourself living there, and then you ended up living there.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was brilliant. It was the best, like, you know, I was a teenager living in the best house in the fucking town. I loved it. It was brilliant. But it's that easy. It's like, you know, it really is that easy. If you visualize and feel like it's actually happening, that's all you need to do. That is really all you need to do. Act as if it's already yours.
Yeah. Be, it's like, I always like to say, be something and the universe catches up. So, and it's like being it, but it's not just that. The important thing is, like, not just envisioning it. You've got to take the action of the person that gets that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you don't just like sit there meditating on a sweet house and a nice car, and you know, do you know what I mean?
Well, I did that as a child and it worked. Like, I didn't do anything except visualize. Obviously, my dad took some action steps or whatever in the landlord. But, like, genuinely, I did nothing. But yeah, no, you do have to take action. I remember when I went to the law of attraction first, I remember some friends of mine back then, they tried to contradict me. I was like, you know, it doesn't really work that way. And I was like, I know it doesn't work like magic. I know you have to do stuff. But when you change your mindset, when you're visualizing that magic, you have that motivation to take the next step. Like, and to be honest with you, it does happen by sitting there as well. Because when I first started, you know, wanting to be a DJ, I literally had a laptop and a tiny little desk, and I had no speakers. And I was like, I need to get speakers, I need to afford speakers, I need speakers. And literally, I was a supervisor in a factory, and one of my lovely workers arrived into my house one night with a speaker worth 400 quid. And I was like, oh, okay, I literally, when they left, I sat there staring at the speaker going, oh shit, this is real. This is real. This is real. I was so mesmerized by the law of attraction. I was staring at this magic speaker that appeared in my fucking sitting room. So it kind of can happen when you don't do anything as well.
You'll have to really believe then. So what sort of things? Because I always think, I I have a vision, but it's not a really, because I believe in the law of attraction. You should have a very clear vision of what you want.
You have
Whereas
to set a
I
clear
kind
intention.
of have, I felt like I I had a vision, but I was trying to force it. I had my own idea of how that was going to pan out. And I actually made myself very ill by overworking myself. I ended up with double vision and all sorts. And so like we say that you should take action but not force it. That you've
That's it. You have to let go of the outcome and leave it to God, leave it to the universe. And that's the thing. We have to detach from it. I know it's weird in the sense, like when we try and manifest and go, how do I do this? This is impossible. This is doubt. That seeps in. You have to leave the how up to the universe. You know, because it's something that you're manifesting seems out of reach and it seems quite impossible. If you're fixated on the impossible side, you're not going to manifest it. So you actually leave the complications up to the universe, and they will guide you to the steps that you need. But that's it. You kind of detach yourself from the outcome. And I noticed it myself. You know, you'd be visualizing for ages, you'd be trying to manifest, and then something doesn't come in, and you're like, oh shit, what about it? So fuck it, it's not happening. And then you just forget about it, and then all of a sudden it just pops in. So it's kind of like letting go of that need. Because when we need something, it actually repels it.
Yeah.
So you visualize, you act as if it's already yours, and then you just let it go. And then it'll come in when you least expect it.
Yeah, it's about embodying the energy of. So if you're like, I want something, then you're embodying the energy of someone who is lacking that thing.
Exactly.
Because if you want it, it means you haven't got it, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, you have to remove the desperation, like, you know, and that's the hardest part about manifestation is letting go of that doubt, letting go of that fear, letting go of the how. Because we're always, we like to be in control as humans. But when we let go of control and leave the control up to the universe, then it just happens. Yeah. It's magic. And it is. It really is. It's just, we have to let go of our desperation, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. And be patient. Because
it
happens quickly, but it might not. I've also heard people speak of like being tested. Like, do you really want this? Like sometimes you know, it's almost like your belief gets tested about whether you're actually going to get this thing. Like the universe throws a curveball and you're like everything's falling apart. This is, you know, I'm trying my best, but it's not coming together. But then if you push through that, that's when magic happens.
Exactly. And sometimes, the universe will test you just before you get your reward. They'll test you with something from your old life. And like they're trying to tempt you back into that old way. And you're like, if you're getting impatient with the outcome of your new manifestation, you're kind of going, I've been waiting so long for this. Will I just go back to the old satisfaction? And this is your ultimate test. It's to see if you're ready for the magic. Yeah. Because if you fail and you go back and repeat another cycle, that means you've got more lessons to learn. But literally, it tests you to see if you're ready. But also sometimes as well, they'll give you snippets. So they'll give you a little bit of what's to come and then take it away again. And it's just like, fuck. You know, and it's like, then it makes you actually want it more, but like not want it in a desperate way, but make the effort more to manifest. Yeah. So
yeah.
Definitely the few tests are there, all right.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that actually, because when I kind of just fell into this karate situation where like I ended up on the Great British Martial Arts team, and then we were working towards going to the Europeans, and I don't think I was kind of, I probably wasn't taking it wholly seriously, and then I was taken ill, and it was on April Fool's Day as well. On April Fool's Day, my body decided to fake a stroke. Essentially, that's what it. And when I got to the hospital, that's what they thought it was. They thought I was having a stroke. And when they told me that, when they thought it was a stroke, the first thing that crossed my mind is, oh no, that means I'm not going to be able to do karate anymore. Like I'm not going to be able to go to the Europeans. And it wasn't until that moment when it's like, we'll take it away from you, that I was like, hold on a minute, I actually do want this. And then I, you know, even though I was ill, I was like, I kept on training, and I took my training even more seriously. And but it's just like that. It was
That
like,
is, yes.
we're giving you this, and then you're not really going for it here. Like, come on, you've got to do your bit. And it did feel a bit like that. Like, it's like, do you really want it?
Yeah. Wow, Jesus, that is a big one, yeah.
Away from you.
Yeah. That's mad, actually. That is a big one, actually. You know, literally, you're getting the world at your fingertips, and because you were taking it for granted, the universe is like, now, here, do you really want it, or don't you? Because we're going to take it away.
Yeah.
That's it.
Totally.
My God, yeah.
Yeah. You're going to waste this
really
opportunity because we'll give it to someone else.
Yeah. And like, you know, I believe a lot of what you went through with the heart and with your, you know, with those symptoms were ascension symptoms, effectively, because you were out of, your chakras were out of alignment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you were probably not on your right soul path just yet. Like,
I was stuck.
Like,
I was stuck.
Yeah.
I was stuck because I knew that I loved teaching the kids that I teach, but I didn't have much scope for going any further with that. Like, I didn't see how how I was going to progress where I was, you know. And I was part-time, I still am, so I could have taken on more hours, but I was like, I'm not sure class teaching, full-time teaching is what I want. But I'm like, I could do with some more money. My kids are getting bigger. And I was like, I actually in meditation was like, what is my purpose? Like, because I felt it was teaching. I felt it was because I'm really good at helping the SEND children, the special educational needs children, because I'm really, really good at making them believe in themselves. And anyway, so the next day, I do my meditation at nighttime. The next day, I fell down this coaching rabbit hole. So I basically saw an advert. I clicked on a link, and before I knew it, I was on this school community and doing this course. And I was like, I didn't even really know what coaching was. To me, coaching was like sports coaching or something.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God, this is just perfect. This is the bit of the teaching that I especially liked, like empowering people. Like, I used to empower the children. They often feel very disempowered because they find school difficult for various reasons with the different difficulties that they may have.